Hey, good morning. Shabbat Shalom. And that's 8 o'clock in the morning. And so, normally I do this in the evenings, but we're in the book of Micah. This is If My People Bible Reading, part 110. And Micah, who is like Yahweh? Micah. Another small 7 chapters, I think. But oh man, this thing is so packed. This is so packed for people living today. Today at this time, it has very little to do with when Micah gave the warning. Because the reason I say that is, how could you say that, Bruce? How do you come up with these conclusions? Because look what happened. Did anyone listen to what he had to say? No. So this is a book of a scroll of incredible prophecy. And it was not listened to because Babylon had not come yet. But the big warning was there, but it doesn't say that. It doesn't spend much time because when it says Yahweh's going to do this and Yahweh's going to do that, Yahweh did not do this, Yahweh did not do that yet. So that's where I get that conclusion. It's I don't have to do years of study on that. I simply read the word. I look outside my window. That's a Brad Scott statement. I look outside my window and I go, oh, that's what I see, and that's what's going on right in front of me. So this is prophetic. And this may take 1, 2, 3 15-minute sessions. So let's get into it. Now, you're supposed to be reading that word before I get to it. So shame on you if you're not. All right. The word of Yahweh came to Micah of Morseth during the reigns of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. The vision he saw concerning Samaria, keyword Samaria, not Jerusalem, not Judah, not the land of Judah, and Jerusalem. So not Judah, but inside of Judah is the city of Jerusalem. So he goes, "Hear, O peoples, if it's everybody's of him, it's people. If it's peoples of different faith and walks, it's peoples. Okay, O earth and all who are in it." That's all those who want to be grafted in. "That the Adonai Yahweh may witness against you, Yahweh from his holy, his kadosh temple." So he's speaking to Samaria. And since it was known capital of the northern kingdom, he's actually speaking to anyone on earth by the same meaning, because that's where everybody is today. They're not in Samaria. His points are against immorality, social injustices, the oppression of the poor by the rich. Does that sound familiar? Does take this into content and context. This entire book will come alive with you in these last days. Look, Yahweh, this is verse 3, coming from his dwelling place, he comes down and treads the high places of the earth. He's coming down. The mountains will melt beneath him, and the valleys will split apart. That is the great wrath. That's the wrath of Yahweh. That's not the tribulation of Hasatan. Okay, because so many people teach that when Satan comes, he's going to tear things to pieces. No, he's not. He's going to do a lot of damage in the last couple thousand years, but nothing like what Yeshua's going to do. It's going to, like wax before the fire, like water rushing down a slope. All this because of Jacob's transgression, because of the sins of the house of Israel. What is Jacob's transgression? Is it not Samaria? What is Judah's high place? Is it not Jerusalem? Once again, so many of my friends want to go to Jerusalem or are looking forward to going to Jerusalem. As we read the book of Micah, people are going to have joy in their hearts because Yeshua is going to pick them up and walk them or talk them. He's going to do something. He's going to get us to the promised land. Okay, that's great. Joy doesn't mean laughing and tambourines and songs and guitars and drums and cymbals and upside down buckets. with people banging on them. It doesn't mean that. And the other people that would be following behind them, doing what they want to do because they're gnashing their teeth their entire life, hating Yeshua, they're the ones that are going to be in misery. But we're going to be in joy. Joy means sometimes crying a lot. It's like your parents or somebody you loved and someone, a friend of yours, that's just horribly sick, and they die. A horrible death. It didn't go smoothly. And they're dead. They passed away, and you're at the funeral site. So you're crying, but you're in joy. You're in joy because they're no more in pain. They're with the Father. When they finally realize where they are after they pass away, to be absent from the body is to be present with Adonai. So if they sit in that grave for 3,000 years, when they pass away, and then they look up and they see Yeshua, and they're going to judgment, good or bad, it's as if they've been absent from the body for a split second to be absent with the Lord. Do you understand that? That's how I understand it. Now, if you fly through the air the minute you die, you zoom through space at 900 billion miles an hour and you're with the Father, that's fantastic. That's probably how everyone wants it to be. But if you plan on all this best case scenario with never planning for the worst, then where's your faith walk? Put your faith walk where it is, not in everything's perfect and I don't have to worry about it. That's where disappointment comes. Your faith walk is planning what you're supposed to do because the Father put you on this earth to, one of the first commandments was tend the earth, take care of the earth and you in it. Be responsible for everyone else's lives besides yours. Okay? Pretty important thing to do, because if you are right about planning for the worst but hoping for the best, that's how you want it to be. You'll be much, in the end when something goes wrong, you won't be disappointed and you will say, I knew that was going to happen. Don't you love people like that? I just knew that was going to happen. Well, if you knew it was going to happen, why didn't you tell us? I always love that one. Okay. Chapter 2, let's go verse 4. In that day men will ridicule you. They will taunt you with this mournful song. We are utterly ruined. My people's possession is divided up. He takes it from me. He assigns our fields to traitors. Now you're thinking, oh, they're talking about the Jews here. They made fun of the Jews back in those days. Didn't we start off with this whole thing is about Samaria? Well, let's stick with what it says. So so what happened to them to go into Babylon, which is, by the way, Judah, not Samaria. Samaria, remember, was taken by the Assyrians. So let's stick to the history here. So this is prophetic. Yes, the Jews and some of the other 11 tribes went to Babylon, then came back 70 years later at their appointed times. Micah brings that up here. But this whole story is about Samaritans. Samaritans are mixed peoples. That's why Yahweh calls them peoples. They're mixed peoples. That's why Jews in the time of Yeshua, the bad Jews, did not like Yeshua, and they didn't like the Samaritans because they're mixed. You're not one of us, are you? Okay. For our comment on verse 4, for those prosperity preachers and believers, Yahweh is speaking about you. He is saying that the world will make up songs and ridicule you as you lose your property, your money, and your banks, your homes are taken away, divided up by others. Why does Yahweh permit this? Because we, you, us, Yahweh's people, have forsaken his word, his instruction, his Torah, which you don't hear in prosperity churches. You never hear that word. He knows that putting pain in your life and removing all things you can claim as owned by you and purchased by you were in all fact from him. So we must become humble, sorrowful, repent, and correct in our lives. That's Torah. The entire Bible should be our learning tool, our way of getting an answer from Yahweh. We should pray daily, read the Word for response from Him. That is a Torah command. I sure do not like to read of any prosperity lifestyle for believers coming out of the Bible. For those who defraud others, continue to bilk the poor, and the rich keep getting richer and richer and richer. And at this writing in the United States, about 2% of the people in the country own 90% of all public property assets, cash, gold, silver. Uh-oh. And so 98% of the people must live on and have access to 2% of the property in cash. A very sad comment on the greedy. Wow. All right. Verse 11. If a liar and deceiver comes and says, I will prophesy for you plenty of wine and beer, he would be just the prophet for this people. Our comment. A prophetic warning. Oh, by the way, that was reading the word. I wasn't making that up. That wasn't my comment. Here's my comment. A prophetic warning. For Yeshua came in the name of his Father, and the people received him not. But another, the Antichrist, will come in his own name, and the world will accept him. People who appear to not care about truth in the last days, just what they want, and who can get it for them is enough for them to put up with a liar and a deceiver. Just give me this stuff. I'll vote for that guy. Sorry, got to have my coffee in the morning. Most times. All right. Verse 12. I will surely gather all of you, O Yaakov. I will surely bring together the remnant of Israel. Yaakov is not Jewish. He's Israel. Okay? I will bring them together like sheep in a pen. Now pay attention, because he's telling you exactly what he's going to do. Like a flock in its pasture, the place will throng with people. Comment. Another verse speaking of Yeshua coming to gather us together with his messengers. There's no mention of going ahead now or getting caught up prior to Jacob's troubles, going to Israel to live, which many of my good friends want to do. Read this again and all the passages that give this warning over and over and over, I don't know, dozens of times. Yahweh makes it clear that most people will he say to, go, for I do not know you. So those coming who do everything that is Yahweh's told them not to do and disregard all these minor prophets, he's going to say to them, I don't know who you are. Only a remnant will remain, and only a remnant will be gathered up. This is a very sad comment at the end days of the prior of the millennium. Now, I've told you, if my people, Bible reading, part 1, you start there. So this is not the first time I've said about remnant. The important parts of that is, you're one of those people that there's only 6 people on earth taken, and that's, this is like Noah. There's only 8 people went on the ark, eight of Noah's family. Pay attention to what was said about the animals and the critters and things that slither, things that walk, and the things with 4 feet, and mammals and birds and all these other things. Notice that Noah didn't have to take any fish on board. You notice that? So did everything go on the ark? Did everything? And then was everything mentioned that was not mentioned? So when the Bible speaks many, many times, including people like Goliath and mixed DNA from Hasatan's behavior of altering the DNA and genes a long, long time ago. The Bible calls them beasts. So did Noah, at the direction of Yeshua, the Father, Yahweh, bring beasts? Because the seed from Canaan was in them? That is a hard thing to swallow, and that's why you have not read or heard this in a Bible or on the internet. I'm just saying, if I'm wrong, read through the whole Bible all the way to the end, because when the end comes and the perfect people are perfected, he's talking about hearts. If you perfect the heart, and in other words, only pureness can go in a heart, no bad DNA, that means the entire Bible says that your body is completely altered by Yahweh and brought back to perfectness with no bad DNA even going through the heart valves. That's what that means. That's what that means. So if you have some beast in you, if you have a big hairy chest, Mr. Man, and you came from some Neanderthal type people, that's all going to be perfected. I'm looking forward to that. I don't like all this hair.